So just before we get into this review, I'd just like to say again that I will be doing a review of Logan Noir tomorrow. And I have 3 other reviews up, so I'm going to put a post on my Instagram because I haven't been getting any views in the last day, which is odd because normally I get a couple, and that's, yeah, so maybe you guys don't know about them. So as always, link to my Instagram account below, so you can go give me a follow and see my editing process of every video. Normally I post something about it, so yeah. I'll just give a reminder that there are 3 new videos up. The one from Wednesday, and then 1 yesterday, and 2 today that have been uploaded so far, I think, or 2 yesterday and 1 today, something like that. Anyway, without further ado, let's roll the intro and get into this review. So I pretty much had my whole week planned this week. So today's winner was Pacific Rim. It's a really good movie. Actually, the first time I saw this, I don't think I ever saw it from the beginning. Or if I did, I think the opening kind of deterred me, and I didn't really give the movie a chance. And that's probably why I would give it a 4 to 5, because it almost seemed fake at the beginning. But this movie is about these creatures called the kaiju, and they create these Jaegers to fight them, which are basically these giant robots here, as you can see. Yeah, this had quite a cast in it. It had Charlie Hunnam, Idris Elba, I believe was his name, and it had Ron Perlman. So yeah, it was actually quite a good cast. I love all 3 of these actors. Charlie Hunnam is from, if I'm saying that correctly, is from Sons of Anarchy. But this was probably around the same time, or maybe a little after Sons of Anarchy ended, because he has been in a couple movies now. But yeah, the outbreak of kaiju started when he was 15, and it slowly progresses as he gets older. And it started out as Category 1, then Category 2, then Category 3, Category 4, and then by the end of the movie, they've reached a Category 5 kaiju, when they're trying to close the rift between worlds, because the kaiju have broken through to their world, and created like a portal or rift where they're getting through and destroying cities and killing thousands beyond thousands of people. So basically, these Jaegers are the resistance, and each city's trying to build walls, but as kaiju evolve, they're just breaking through every wall, and they're able to get into the city and wreak havoc. So, yeah, if you haven't watched this movie, I would definitely go watch it. I can't remember the process called. I know that the Jaegers are manned by 2 people, and they have to sync together, basically, the 2 people with the machine. So it goes through each person's memories, and then they see if those 2 people are compatible to control the machine together. When it first started, Charlie Hunnam's character, it doesn't say his name on the back, and I wish it did, because I can't remember his name. But anyway, he's teamed up with his brother in the beginning, and I think they've reached stage 3 kaiju by that point in time. It was the biggest that they've ever seen so far, and his brother ends up dying because kaiju destroys their Jaeger completely, and he has to walk the Jaeger to land, and he almost dies himself. Anyway, then for 5 years he ends up working construction, building the wall, and then he gets called back by the marshal to come and fight the Jaeger again, or to come and fight the kaiju again, sorry, and try to take them out. Then they find out, their research team finds out that they can actually connect with the kaiju brain, so they do that in order to find out how the kaiju think and where the kaiju are coming from, and they find out that the kaiju are all just clones, so they just keep evolving while they're being cloned, and there's actually someone in control of the kaiju, just like they're in control of the Jaegers. So it's actually a very interesting concept. So basically the kaiju world is somehow connected itself into the into Earth, and basically the research team has said that the first wave was dinosaurs, but the Earth wasn't sustainable for them, so that's why they were wiped out, and now they've come back and they've evolved into these kaiju creatures. I think I said I would give this movie a 4 out of 5 just because the first time I watched it, I think I started from the very beginning and I was deterred, and then I tried to watch it from the middle and the story didn't make any sense. There is actually a rip-off film of this called Atlantic Rim, but yeah, it was horrible and I probably wouldn't watch it again because this one is just way better graphics and the storyline is much better. He ends up, Charlie Hunnam's character ends up teaming with this girl the second when he goes back to fight the kaiju again, even though the marshal tries to tell her that she's not allowed to fight, because you find out that he actually saved her when she was a child from a kaiju that she would have easily been killed by. And back to the brain thing where they can connect with the kaiju brain. It ends up making it worse when he connects, because when you connect it goes both ways, right? So you can see into the kaiju's memories and he can see into yours. So when the kaiju brain connects with the human brain, the kaiju are trying to find the one research guy that connected with them, and they end up finding him, but luckily they are able to close the rift between the two worlds at the end of the movie. And yeah, so they do save the day, but it's kind of at what cost, because a lot of the Jaegers get destroyed and a lot of the teams that control the Jaegers ended up dying, and all the people in between. But I mean, once they found out where the kaiju were coming from, it made it a lot easier. And Ron Perlman's character was a black market dealer who deals kaiju parts. So he deals, I guess basically they would be almost like, not the baby kaiju, but there's some sort of like parasite that's on the kaiju. And anyway, he ends up getting eaten by a baby kaiju in the movie. So unfortunately, his character dies as well. But yeah, he was definitely a more comedic character in this movie, that's for sure. But he was not to be trusted. He well, because he's a black market dealer, right? But they got the kaiju brain from him, and so that's where the marshal tells the research team to go to find another kaiju brain, and they end up having to connect to the baby kaiju's brain to find out how to close the rift. And basically the Jaeger has to drag a kaiju down with him and pretend that he's a kaiju in order to close the rift and save the day. And that's all I can say about this movie. I would definitely recommend it, that you go watch it, because it was good. I would definitely watch it again. It was like watching, it was almost like watching Godzilla in certain parts, but like Godzilla on steroids, basically, because there's so many different creatures throughout the movie, and they all look different. Some of them look like sharks. One of them looked kind of like a dog almost. And as they evolve, they seem to like grow tails. And the Category 5 one had like 6 or 7 tails, maybe even 8. It was nuts. So yeah, it's kind of hard when you've only got a robot to stop all that, right? You need to keep upgrading as you go, right? Because you're fighting a stronger species, so it's difficult. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie. I would actually like to see them make a second one, maybe down the road, just to see what that would be like, because that would be very interesting to me. And that's where I will leave off this vlog. I will see you guys tomorrow with a review of Logan Noir, as I've already said. And as always, linked to my Instagram account down below. Bye-bye for now.